Hi everybody, so today we're going to be filming a pretty, I would say maybe intermediate type class today. Yeah. The class will be mainly focused on core strength and spinal strengthening, um, maybe a little bit of spinal flexibility as well as spinal articulation. Um, so we're going to start with the back of our mat. We're going to do a quick warm-up series that I like to do at the beginning of any exercise, any routine you want to do. We're going to start back on that big deep breath in as we go up with our arms pointing to the ceiling. We're going to exhale as we dive down to our feet. And I want you to walk your hands out into your plank. Okay, I want you to make sure your core is engaged, make sure you keep breathing. And I want you to hold this for a few seconds, for as long as you can. If this is too much for you, remember you can always drop down to your knees as well as to your elbows. Alright, and now plank and then slowly going back over to walk back into our feet. Make sure you keep breathing. Big inhale here as we lift up vertebra by vertebra, making sure our head is the last thing to come up as we go back into starting position. And back down. We're going to do two more of these. Okay, big deep breath in. Hands up to the sky and then exhale as we dive down to our feet. Walking out with our hands into our plank and we're making sure our core is engaged and our back is in a very good neutral position. Alright, we're going to walk back in. Inhale. Slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Head coming up last. Arms up and back down. Right, and last one. Big inhale. Exhale. Diving down. Walking out. Nice, slow, and controlled into that plank. We want you to make sure your core is engaged. This is our last one. I want to make sure it counts. I'll try to hold this just a little bit longer. All right, last one. Walk back into your hands, nice and slow. Make sure you're breathing. And up, nice and slow. Head coming fast. And we're done. Next round, we're going to go into our push-ups. Only a few, not too many. In that same position in the back of the mat, we're going to do the same thing we did with our planks. We're going to breathe in, hands up over to the ceiling, dive down towards your feet. We're going to walk out, same way we did before. Remember, you can modify your push-ups however you like, and we're going to 1, 2, and we're going to walk back into our feet, coming up slowly, vertebra by vertebra, head coming up last, and back down. I'm going to do that 2 more times, okay? Down, walking out, okay, making sure when we push down our elbows are by our chest, okay, we don't want them out, we want them in, okay? Okay, and we're going to go back onto it and walk back inwards. Slowly going up. Make sure you keep that breath nice and controlled, and up and down. Last one. Really make it count. Take a big deep breath. Okay. Last two. Really make them count. 2 and 1. Whew. Going back up, walking back in, going up, nice and slow. Turning over, head coming up last, and back up. Shake out your wrists, move your shoulders around, give yourself a bit of a stretch. Alright, now we're going to do opposite arm and leg. I'll go down to all fours. Always remember we're in this position. You want a nice neutral back, knees under your hips, hands and shoulders, hands and elbows under your shoulders. Alright, now what we're going to do is stay here. Show you. We're going to take the opposite leg. In my case, this is my left leg and my right one. Okay, we don't want it too low, and we don't want it too high, too low. We're going to practice nice, neutral, still position, and then we're going to go to this here. Okay, I'm just going to stay here. Alright, I'm machine. Deep breath in and out as you lift that back leg and that arm. Make sure that core stays engaged. Okay, and we're going to meet our knee. That's 4. Okay, 3, 2. Make sure you stay nice and controlled. And 1. On this last one out, I really want you to hold it. Make sure that you keep that core engaged, keep that balance, and slowly land back down. Right. Face this way. Other side. Remember, deep breath in. Shake out that wrist if you need to. Keep that core engaged, back nice and neutral. Alright, deep breath in as you lift that other leg and that arm. And as you inhale, I want you to go ahead and inhale. Exhale as we meet. Right over here. And back out. Keep breathing throughout. That core engaged. Keep that back nice and straight. This is 2. And 1. Okay, I want you to hold it. Keep that core engaged. And slowly get back down. And we're going to go into a child's pose just to give ourselves a nice stretch. Now we should come back into seated. Shake those wrists out real quick before you move on. Take a sip of whatever you have to drink. Lastly, for our quick little warm-up, we're going to do spinal twist. I want you to sit nice and tall. Back is going to be nice and straight. We don't want to be like this, and you don't want to be too high. It's just nice, neutral, comfortable sitting position. Legs are going to be nice and straight out in front of you. If this is not comfortable for you, you can always bend your knees slightly. Nice and straight. You want to make sure your legs stay glued together. You are a mermaid, okay? You only have one of this, right? You do not want them to move, even if your knees are bending. Okay? arms straight out to your sides. I always say arms are a tightrope. Okay, so let's side to side. My head is the flag anymore. Sitting up nice and tall, we're going to take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to twist to our left side. And then we're going to pulse. And then we're going to go to the center, and then go to the right side. Back to the center. We're going to do this 4 times. So it's 4. Inhale. Exhale. Back to center. 3. 2. Make sure when you're twisting, you really twist only as far as comfortable. You really want to feel it in your spinal region. Is a nice stretch for your upper and mid back. Back to the center and to the other side. That's 2. Last one. Really make it count. Almost done. And back to the center. Go ahead and relax. Breathe out. Okay. Okay, I'm going to move up a bit here. Next, we're going to go into rolling like a ball so that we can warm up our spine just a bit more for a real workout. All right. When you're rolling like a ball, you want to make sure that your legs are up to your chest and you're hugging them. You can hug them a few different ways. You can do this on the back of your hands, your hamstrings. Juggling is the easiest way. Next, will be onto your shins, and lastly, your ankles. When you're like this, you want to make sure that your back has a nice round curve to it. You're really hugging yourself close. So I'm going to hug my knees, open my legs on the back of my hamstring, back a little bit. Right, I want you to take a nice deep breath in and exhale as we roll over to our back and right back up into that starting position, making sure we try our best to keep our legs elevated. All right, that was 4. Nice deep breath. And back up. When you're rolling on your back, you make sure you do not roll onto your neck. Only want to go as far as the top of your shoulders. That was 3. 2. Make sure you keep it close. With your hand placement. And last one. And back up, making sure we keep the hands high. Alright, you can go ahead. When you're done, and this should help you go ahead, straighten your legs and fold forward just to give yourself a nice little stretch before we move on to our next exercise. Next exercise is going to be modified corkscrew. Okay, I'm going to start sitting up because I want to go ahead and roll down so that I'm in that position. So we're going to roll down nice and high, legs stay together, and we're just going to roll down until we are in supine position. When you're in that supine position, back is into the mat, core is engaged, hands are going to be glued to your mat. You do not want them to move. I always say they're the roots of your body, okay, like a tree. You don't want them to move, you don't want them to be uprooted, okay? They are your grounding force. Okay, hands glued to your mat, legs point up to the ceiling, nice 90-degree angle. Okay, I want you to take a nice deep breath in, making sure that core is engaged. Then as you exhale, I want you to slowly move to the right. And as you move to the right, that left side is slowly going to lift up off the mat. Alright? And when you get to that slight lift, we're going to move downwards and slowly go to the opposite side, lifting up slightly on the right side. And then back to the center. Okay? We're going to do that 4 times. Alright, so nice deep breath in. Hands rooted into the mat, they do not move. Spine back into the mat. Deep breath in, core engaged. And as you exhale, going to the right side, going downwards, over, to the left, and back to center. If the straight leg is too much for you, like it is for me right now, you get a slight bend in your knee. Also, this exercise overall is just too much for you. We do what we call windshield. So with the windshield, you're just going to move to the left until you're lifted up the mat a little bit, back to center, and to the opposite side. Back to center. So deep breath in, core engaged, I'm going to right side, going down, other side, and center. Up straight, down, over, back to center. Ooh, this is hard. There's 2. This is 2. 1, go, and over, and back to center. Last one. Okay. Last one. Right. Going to my right side. Make sure that core is engaged. Going down. Over to my left side. And back. Ooh, to the center. Okay, good. I want you to hug your knees to your chest. Rock side to side. Bring your legs in. Break. Get that core a bit of a break. And when you're done, I want you to lay your legs back out in front of you flat. We're going to transition up to sitting position. I want you to slowly roll yourself back. Okay. Next, we're going to go back onto our back. We're going to be doing our rollovers. 2 ways I've found to do this. The first way, which I believe is a bit easier, you're going to start in a sitting position, and you're going to start and roll down. But once you get to where your hands can go, you're going to ricochet your legs back into that rollover position. Roll back up. Another way I found is that you do a full roll down, and then hands to the mat, and then from here you lift your legs up and go into that roll position. I found this can be a bit hard to do it this way when you're first doing it. So whichever way you feel like will be more comfortable. When you are in this position, like the modified corkscrew, your hands are on the roots for your body. You do not want them to move. You do not want them to be uprooted. They are the things that are going to stabilize you. Alright, so nice position. Right, I want you to deep breath in and out as you roll down. Hands, knees, and arms to the mat, and roll over. When you're in this position, you're going to put your legs shoulder width apart
And when you are ready, deep breath in and exhale as you slowly roll yourself back down vertebra and come back up and roll over. Alright, we're going to do that 2 more times. Big inhale. Exhale as you get ready to roll down. Being careful not to roll up too far. You do not want to roll onto your neck. Make sure you only roll as far as your top of your shoulder blades. Okay, when ready, make sure that you deep breath. Make sure that core is engaged. Deep breath in. Separate those legs, shoulder width apart. I want you to exhale as you slowly, vertebra by vertebra, rolling yourself down nice and controlled. And we're going to go back up and roll. Alright, so now the last one, I want you to make sure you stay nice and controlled as you go down, roll over, and back up. Nice, deep breath in. And exhale as we roll down. Nice and controlled. Hands with the mat, legs go overhead parallel to the ground. I want you to stay here just for a minute. Really make sure that core is engaged. Arms are rooted into the mat. Deep breath in. Legs go shoulder width apart. Exhale. And on that next inhale, I want you to slowly control your going down. And back up and over. Not really, but you know. Alright, next, one of my favorite exercises, but a hard one, jackknife. So you know how to do your rollover. Starting position. We're going to go down, roll ourselves down nice and controlled. Hands rooted into the mat, legs come up into our rollover nice and parallel to the ground. And when we are ready, we do one of two things. If this is something you feel like you can do, you can take a nice deep breath in and exhale as you slowly lift your legs and point them to the ceiling. Now, if this is too much or too difficult, you feel yourself shaking or moving side to side, you can take your hands into what we call the shoulder stance, and they're going to meet the back of your tailbone. So that when you slowly lift your legs up, you're a bit more stabilized. When you do this, you still want to make sure that your core is engaged and that control is coming from there. You do not want to put too much weight on these hands. And when we're ready, we're going to go back down into our rollover position. Hands go back down to the mat, and we slowly roll ourselves back down, up, and over. And do that 3 times. Alright? Sitting up nice and tall, hands out in front of us, deep breath in, and back down into our rollover position. Alright, when you are ready with your shoulders, yes, or without, we're going to slowly lift our legs up to the ceiling. Make sure you keep that core engaged. You want to make sure those legs are glued together. You do not want them going anywhere. So they're glued together, nice and controlled. And slowly lower yourself back down into that position. Hands move the mat. And roll yourself vertebra by vertebra, nice and slow. Come up and over. 3. Nice big inhale. Exhale, rolling down. Up and over, making sure we are parallel to the ground. Making sure our legs are glued together, core is engaged, hand coming up to that shoulder stance. Nice big inhale, exhale as we lift our legs up to the ceiling. See if you can go just a bit further this time. Really holding that, making sure that core stays engaged. If this is too much, remember, we want to be stable. You can always just lower yourself. All right, slowly lower myself back down. Hands move the mat. And slowly lowering, vertebra, vertebra, back up, and over. That was 2. Okay, last one. Nice, big deep breath in. Hands out in front of you. We are going to roll down into our roll over. Making sure we are only on top of those shoulder blades. Legs nice, straight, parallel to the ground. On that next big inhale, hands move the tailbone into that shoulder stance. As we exhale, I want you to move your leg up, pointing to the ceiling. Really see if you can really push yourself as far as you can. Woo. Hold it. Keep that core engaged. And slowly come back down. Hands move the mat. Legs parallel. Then slowly, nice and controlled, rolling ourselves back down and over. There we go. But I decided to do one more hard exercise. So for our next exercise, actually before we do that, I want you to roll over, meet your feet, give your back a nice big stretch before we move back to the next one. Rock side to side, give yourself a nice stretch in those back and glute area. Okay. Last exercise before we cool down our palms. We're going to sit up nice and tall. We're going to look back into our roll position. Alright, back down into our rollover. Remember to keep that core engaged and to keep breathing. When we're ready, we're going to go back with our hands into our shoulder stance, and then we're going to lift up into our jackknife. Now, here, we're going to scissors. I want you to be nice and careful, keep that core engaged, and I want you to take a nice deep breath in and exhale as one leg slowly goes down towards the mat. And back up into your neutral position, and that opposite leg goes down to the mat. Alright, that was 3. We want to do this 3 times. I'm going to try to make sure we get this done. That was 3. Alright, and we're going to do nice and controlled, be careful. Keep that core engaged and make sure you keep breathing. That was 2. Last one. Really try to push yourself here. Make sure those legs are nice and pointed up into the ceiling. One more time. Leg comes down, parallel to the ground. And back to center. And the last one. And you're done. Slowly roll yourself back into that rollover position. Hands, feet to the mat. And we're going to go down. Nice and slowly, slowly. So back up and give yourself a nice stretch for you. Okay, and now we're going to pull ourselves down Get yourself a drink if you need to. Next, we're going to get ourselves a nice stretch. One or two things, legs can be in, not that crisscross applesauce like this, or they can be in a seated position like this. Next, we're going to take one hand, is going to stay on the ground, and then the other hand is going to be up as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly go to the opposite side. And as we go down, our hand or our forearm is slowly going to hit the ground. You should feel a nice stretch in both obliques in that mid and lower back area. Make sure you're breathing without. And on this next exhale, I want you to slowly turn your torso towards the mat as you reach for your cup of water that's on the opposite side of the table. Alright, so a nice stretch in that lower back. And on the next inhale, I want you to go back to that position, facing forward as you go to the opposite side, doing the same exact thing. Breathing in and out as we stretch ourselves out. Alright, and turn towards your drink. You want your water so badly. Reaching out, feeling a nice stretch in the lower back. Coming back to the front. And we're going to do this 2 more times on the side. Okay, and we sit down, up to the ceiling, over to the side, stretching our legs out. Make sure you keep breathing without, pull yourself down. And reach over to our drink. Give yourself a nice stretch if you can. Turn it a slight bit more. And back to the center. Reaching a bit further if you can. And we're going to go back up to the other side. Switching out the left side. Next, inhale, tone over, torso facing the mat, reaching for our drink. Turn a bit more, turn in a bit more if you can. Alright, back towards the center. Stretching a bit more. And back. Starting position. One more start on each side. And also that. And up towards the ceiling, over towards the side. Really make this last one count. Stretch as far as comfortable, as far as you can. Mat goes towards this, torso goes towards the mat, reaching for that drink. Really reach. Give yourself a nice final lower back stretch. Torso facing the center one last time. And up towards the opposite side. Hand facing forward. Arm up towards the side. One good final stretch on that left side. As much as you can. Torso turns to make the mat, reaching. Reach, give yourself a nice stretch, twist more if you can. And back to center. One last final reach, and then back